Hi, everybody. I'm so glad to have a live stream today, 3 a week. And so there will be one today, tomorrow, and Thursday. I had to have today's early, so I decided to do, and also it's still very slow because of the writer's strike in terms of news. Thanks, Jerome. Thanks for gifting a membership. So I thought I'd do an Ask Me Anything, and one of you said, hey, man, why don't we do it open to subscribers? And I was like, swell idea. So if you're even a subscriber, you can participate in today's live stream. I can be on here for about 30 minutes, so I should be able to get to a lot of your questions. But first, it's the beginning of the week. Oh, darn it. I forgot to get the, hold on, let me see. Okay, so it's the beginning of the week. It's time for me to gift some memberships. So every week, at the beginning of the week, I gift 5 memberships. Let's see if I can do it this way. Hold on. 1 minute, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Hold on. There we go. Sorry. Huzzah! There we go. 5 gifted memberships for the week. So glad that I was able to do that. I want to match the generosity of so many of you. So 5 lucky people are getting a membership. So it's so nice. And so many people are joining the stream today. Thank you. All right, so let's get to your questions. Thanks, B-Weeb. That's just a notification. I have my timer on. Thanks, WeC. That's very generous of you to gift 10 memberships. What a sweetheart. All right, so you can ask me anything. I'll be going back and forth between questions. If you really want your question answered, Super Chat puts you to the front of the line. But I'll be taking questions from everybody. Lido says, what are your thoughts on the Meg 2? That's right. 2 big trailers came out yesterday, Oppenheimer and the Meg 2. I was seeing Little Mermaid in the middle of the afternoon, so I couldn't react. And I don't really usually react to Universal trailers anyway. But the Meg, I mean, I don't know. That seemed really silly. I was like, man, they're still making this type of movie? But as for Oppenheimer, I was very impressed with Oppenheimer. I thought that trailer was phenomenal. I thought that it was scary, but I thought that, it talked about, I think it's interesting. And I thought it was interesting that when they had the quote in the trailer and they were like, oh, everyone's going to remember us. And I'm like, nobody remembers you. Christopher Nolan had to make a movie about you to make people pay attention. But it is, of course, an iconic moment, in human history. But, it's also very scary. So, but I'm excited to see the film. It looks quite good. Junior says, Grace, can you expand a bit more on why the Little Mermaid trailer poorly reflected the film? Why would they do that? It's made it hard to hype it coming out. They haven't really been advertising it very much at all, quite frankly, The Little Mermaid. I mean, we still haven't gotten the second full trailer. I don't even know if we will, quite frankly. I don't even know if they should. I think the word of mouth is so strong coming out of the screenings. Maybe they should just rely on that and the mystery of the film. One of the great things about watching it was that I knew so little about it going in, which was really cool. But it had some of the most beautiful ocean cinematography I'd ever seen. It was just really stunning. I think that my problem with the ad campaign is that it's too stripped down, whereas the actual movie does have that wedding cake musical feel. And so I wish that they'd made the posters a little busier and had some palm trees in them. So many palm trees in the movie. I loved that. Ohad says, how would you rank the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy? I would go backwards. 3, 2, 1. I didn't like the first movie, as many of you know. And I thought the second one was really nice. I thought the Yondu funeral was beautiful. It made me cry. But 3 is like head and shoulders above the other 2 films, in my opinion. Let's see here. Got some more questions in here. Let me get to them. All right. Hold on. All right, so KK says, Grace, as always, thank you for being you and dedicated to keeping us in the loop. Do you have any plans for the summer? That's an interesting question. I have some personal plans. I have some friends who are coming to New York, coming out of the pandemic finally. A couple of friends are coming at different times, so that'll be fun to see them. But, not too much, not too much. It's always nice to hear from you, KK. I like your photo all the time. Future movie actor says, how many shows, Grace, do you think will overhaul their writing teams after the strike? Many of those who have watched it in a hospital are not happy with the writing and desperately want it to change going forward. I don't think they'll overhaul their writing teams. I think there's some concern about, changing some deals, but I don't think it's going to be like that kind of a situation. The questions are coming really fast. I'm not going to be able to get to everybody, but I'm really working on it. Hold on here. Hold on. Derek says, Grace, will you be watching Eurovision? I don't think I'll be watching Eurovision. I'm sorry. Mika says, what are your thoughts on the Jonathan Majors hearing? A lot of nothing for today, but it seems like it's really serious. He has to show up in person in June. That's the next court date. I thought something more was going to happen today, but it was really just a general appearance. Let's see here. Orlando says, hey, Grace, what are your thoughts on the new Hunger Games movie trailer? Well, Orlando, as I said in a recent stream, I thought it was much better than I had thought it would be, and so I was impressed. Media Lover says, which format would you recommend more for The Little Mermaid, RPX or IMAX? I love the emojis there. I would go with IMAX. It's such a visually stunning film, more than anything else. I think to see it really on that huge screen would be really an amazing thing. Oh, Mesh, I'm not sure when I see The Flash. I'm sure closer to release when they start doing regular press screenings. Wellington just got a gifted membership. Hooray, welcome back. Cesar Coronado says, what do you think about Gunn doubling down and saying he will hire his Guardians of the Galaxy pals at DC? Let's see how that works out for him. I mean, his box office ain't going so well, so I think he should, tone down the bravado, quite frankly. But I don't see that happening unless he's seriously humbled. And that won't happen unless we see what the Superman Legacy reaction is. And maybe it'll be great. I really liked Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Thanks, Anthony Walker. That's very sweet of you to say. Let's see here. Kaden, I'm glad you could join too today. Let's see here. Daniel Perdomo, thanks for joining as a member. Frosty Salt says, did you see Hallie and Jodie's hug last night? I did! And Jodie Benson, who of course voiced the original Ariel, does have a small cameo in the film, and I thought that was really nice. Just Josh says, do you think James Gunn is happy with the Guardians of the Galaxy box office? It's too early to be happy or unhappy. Well, he's definitely not happy about it, but I think it's too early to be worried about it. I think we have to see the second weekend drop. I'm not quite sure. I'm trying to get Movie Math up on Sunday, but because it's Mother's Day, don't forget to do something for your mom on Mother's Day. Movie Math might be on Monday this coming week. Nico, I did see the latest episode of Succession. I'm so glad that a certain character didn't jump off that balcony. I was really nervous about it. Let's see here. Joshua says, is there any truth to into the Reedy Creek situation, which is being reported on YouTube, the channel, as Legal Mindset? I'm not sure what the commentary is on other channels about the situation, but it's pretty bad. It's getting worse by the day, quite frankly, and we'll see how fast Disney can have its day in federal court. But I think, quite frankly, Ron DeSantis and his group are just giving more and more ammo to Disney, which is really shocking. Let's see here. Levi Crowley says, hi, Grace. Thank you. Gonna be in New York City in June and always think of you when I'm there. That's very sweet of you. New York's a great town. Come visit. What did you think of Flounder and Sebastian? Flounder's role is really non-existent in the film, but I actually really like Sebastian. He was adorable. Daveed Diggs is always wonderful. Michael says, hey, Grace, any news on Blade? Heard it was going to be rated R. Blade is so far away at this point. I mean, they keep hiring screenwriters. Now the screenwriters can't work on it because of the strike. So I think it's going to be tough. I'm glad you feel honored to be here, Free Rocket Man. That's awesome. Muke says, hey, Grace, do you think Guardians of the Galaxy will have a second week 50% drop? I think it's too hard to tell. There's no really big competition this weekend, so that should help it. I think it'll be in the mid-50s, but, let's see. People are really upset with Disney right now. And I think James Gunn has hurt his image. And I think the animal cruelty is an issue. So it could drop more. Rodney Dollar says, hey, Grace, what film do you see Lucy Liu doing next after Shazam 2 and being wasted, considering she was in Kill Bill? I don't know if Lucy Liu still has a career, quite frankly. Sorry. Space Gaga says, hi, Grace, I wanted to ask, what is the difference between having an actor, having an agent, or not? Leo does not. Adam Driver does not as well. Well, you can't have an agent unless you're a really big star. If you're a really big star and people are thinking of you anyway, you don't really need an agent. But you still probably, I bet they have a manager and or a lawyer because somebody still needs to negotiate your deals. But basically what that says is those individuals, Leo and Adam Driver, don't want to pay 10% to their agent, 10 or 15%. And so they have somebody else handling their representation. But if you're an actor starting out, you need an agent or a manager. You cannot not have representation. It's just not how the system works. It'll be almost impossible for you to get a job. Juan, I hope you get a membership. YouTube decides how the memberships are given out, I'm afraid. Let's see here. Steven says, where did that go? I got moved up so fast. Hold on, where'd it go? Gotta go back to where I was. Hold on. The chat fast forwarded on me. Whew. Oh boy. Oh, Ivan, thank you for gifting 10 memberships. That's so kind of you. Oh no, it moved back to the point where I can't see the comment. Hold on. Ixion says, thoughts on Netflix's Cleopatra. Is that controversy valid? I don't know why it would be a problem to imagine that, quite frankly. I mean, I can see some of the concern, but, she certainly didn't look like Elizabeth Taylor or Gal Gadot. All right, Carlo says, hi, Grace, sending you great vibes. Aw, been a member for a long time, and I can finally comment. That's so great, Carlo. I'm really glad. Pumpkin DeShazer, thank you for gifting 5 memberships. That's very kind of you. Oh, thank you, Sensation. Your comments are always really nice. Frosty Salt says, do you think Disney will do a live-action Disney princess movie? What do you mean, like all of them teaming up together? They're doing a lot of them. Dante says, I've been cooking. What do you think of Matthew Reese's Matthew Reese is too silly. I don't think Matthew Reese would be a good Doom. I told you that I think that actor from Bad Sisters and The Northman would be a good, I forget his name again, but I think he would be a good Doom. Matthew Reese is delightful, and I hope he gets something, but I don't think that he's a good Doom. Ryan, I don't know. I like the Conjuring movies. I think they're consistently good, but they've made a lot at this point, and they're doing a series. I think that's going to be tough to keep it going. H. Ty says, I think Corey from Queen Charlotte should play Superman Clark Kent. Oh, is that the young King George? I don't know. He has too much of a cool factor, I think. He doesn't seem like a Kansas good old boy. Chris Kahn says, greetings from Germany. Just visited New York City last week, and it was amazing. Went to see Super Mario and IMAX Lincoln Square. The place to go. I'm so glad you had a good time. Podge Durka says, how much of a movie's box office is driven by talk show appearances like Kimmel? Always seems secondary to the celebrity interview. It certainly does something, but I don't think it's a big thing. Some people thought, will it be bad that they lost that? And I'm like, I don't think so. I think it's fine. All right, let me catch up to where I am. Really moving, boy. The chat's really moving, boy. Track Nerd says, hi, Grace, love your channel. Oh, I enjoy your reviews in movie math. Thank you so much. Let's see here. Dexton says, I've been subscribed since 2011 when I started watching you in high school. Aw, that makes me feel very nice. Let's see here. Let's see. Jaden says, happy to be part of the stream today. Have you watched any of Disney's direct-to-video sequels? Did you enjoy any of them? You mean like the really old ones from back in the day, like Return of Jafar and stuff like that? I saw them, I think when they came out. They're not great in my opinion. Lewis Cook says, have you been watching season 4 of Barry? I sure have, but I thought that the last twist that they did, no spoilers, while I was really impressed with it, I thought that they dropped the ball with the last episode. But I'm excited to see what happens. Zay says, hi Grace, got tickets for The Little Mermaid in IMAX, but I was curious about Dolby Atmos. What is the difference? And in what instances would one method be better than the other? Well, it depends on what kind of IMAX you have available to you. If it's just a mini IMAX, then I would go with Dolby. But if you have an IMAX that's like the whole wall is a screen and you really feel suspended, like it's like going on Soarin' at Disney World, well, then I think that that's the way to go for a movie that has strong visuals. Like I saw Guardians of the Galaxy in IMAX, and it was really cool. I felt really immersed in the film. Super Bob says, what are your favorite films from the New Hollywood era? I'm not quite sure what you mean by the New Hollywood era. You mean like recent movies? That's hard. I mean, I really like Joker. That was great. Matthew Mead says, how do you feel about the rumors they're getting rid of Frontierland at Disney World? As always, thanks for the amazing content. You mean like they're eating into it a little bit with maybe some Tiana stuff? I don't really think they're getting rid of Frontierland, although I don't care for Frontierland. So I'm not like, no, not Frontierland. I want them to build the Villains Land. I think that's a great idea. I think that would be extremely popular. Ryan says, just wanted to say hi. Oh, hey, Ryan, thank you. And then Marco says, do you think that in Brave and the Bold, perhaps Robbins will already be an established character in the story? Like, could we see Nightwing or Batgirl? I think that's very possible. I would love it to be a Bat family type movie. Let's see. Juan, I'm not reviewing Queen Charlotte. I don't really watch Bridgerton. Although I did watch the final sequence between Queen Charlotte and King George, and it made me tear up. And I wasn't even watching the show. Thanks, Alexander. I hope you're having a wonderful day, too. Let's see here. If I miss any other comments here. Oh, thanks, TB Wrestler. Anish, I don't think Nikolai Coster-Waldau, a.k.a. Sir Jaime from Game of Thrones, I don't think he's a strong enough actor for Doom. Because remember, you're never really going to see his face. Ernie Bird says, I think Matthew Rhys has the range and voice to pull off Doom as a counter to Adam Driver and will be willing to be in The Mask. Oh, but I think that's a waste of Matthew Rhys. I love Matthew Rhys so much. Big fan of Matthew Rhys. Preston says, what's your favorite Aaron Sorkin movie? Oh, I guess The Social Network is like his most iconic, perhaps. But I really liked the Lucille Ball movie, being the Ricardos. I thought that was great. Alex, your first comment ever. Long-time listener. Oh, that's really sweet. Dean, I do not own any Funko Pops. I had mold a long time ago, and it ruined all my collectibles. And so I don't really collect anything anymore because of that. Mika says, Disney and HBO are sending scary lawyer letters to showrunners that they must perform producing duties while on strike. But the WGA is saying they don't have to and that they shouldn't. Who's right? I think that if it's a producing capacity, that you have to show up and do your producing capacity. I wouldn't do any rewrites. I'd be like, I'm not touching this script, but I do believe that they have to show up and do their showrunner capabilities. Mario Williams says, hi from Holland. Oh, how nice. Thanks for being a part of my weekly grind. Oh, that's really nice. I'm glad to be. Do you have any X-Men MCU or Deadpool 3 tea? Not at the moment. I've poured a lot of tea about that stuff, but, we're all on a pause right now because of the strike. Marty McFly, woohoo! What are your thoughts on Star Wars' Rey movie? My opinion is she is not liked by fans. Why would they go forward with that project? I don't know. Some fans don't like Rey, but some fans do. I see a lot of little girls dressed up as Rey, quite frankly, which they said when they talked about greenlighting that movie. So I think she has her fans, and I've actually enjoyed the performance at times. I've been like, this actually has something in it. There's something here. I just think it was handled so poorly. So I'm all for giving Rey another shot, quite frankly. Maybe she'll turn a Korra. Maybe she'll do a Korra, right? And that would be wonderful. Girlish Maine, what a great name. Gearish Maine. Oh, sorry, Gearish Maine. I am not watching Citadel, I'm afraid. I'm not a Richard Madden fan. I know some people really are, but I am not. Dante says, what about Sir Jaime for Johnny Cage? I don't think so. Again, I just don't think he's a good enough actor. Tribute of District 13 says, flight delayed. The live stream is great company. Huzzah! Yay! I don't watch Eurovision, as somebody else asked, but thank you for asking. Shivraj says, hey Grace, your work ethic is really motivational. Advice for a budding media student on how to stay so focused and productive. Well, it helps if you genuinely like what you do. And also, you just got to force yourself to do stuff sometimes. I think that's a big general rule in life. I read some really good advice once about procrastination, and it said just force yourself to do it for 5 minutes, and you'll find that you'll probably just keep doing it. But, often, another big advice that I would say is don't worry about how you look or anything like that or what's going on. Jane Seymour had a quote where she was like, I put my makeup on, I do my hair, and then I just go out. And that's just it is what it is. And I think that's really important too. Let's see here. I'm trying to get to all your questions. Disney says, do you know how many dresses Ariel wears in the movie? I do, because I've seen it, and you've pretty much seen all of her outfits. Real Life Quinn says, thoughts on Galactus and Fantastic Four feels like a waste. It undercuts Kang. I don't know what's going on with Kang. I don't think Kang's working as a villain, just even creatively. Forget the Jonathan Majors situation. And I think casting a major actor as Galactus is stupid. What's he going to do, have a monologue? He's Galactus. He just eats planets. Gorilla My Dream says, I was just in New York and missed asking you what to see. We did pizza lunch at Lombardi's, comics at Jim Haley's Universe, and Saturday night at Marie's Crisis. I'm not sure what Marie's Crisis is. I was working near the Flower District. The Flower District is great. I hope you had a good time. Let's see here. Jose Maldonado says, hey Grace, what are your thoughts on Ted Lasso Season 3? Many people think it went off the rails, but I still enjoy it. Jose, I would agree with both those statements. It did go off the rails, but I'm still enjoying it. I'm going to watch my screener later today, and I got to tell you, I'm excited, even though I don't think it's very good. Hey, Jehu. Lisa says the High Evolutionary is a better villain than Kang. I would agree with that. The High Evolutionary was a great villain. Zoli says, hi Grace, what do you think? Who do you think will succeed in Succession? Have a lovely day. Thank you for everything that you do. Thanks, Zoli. This isn't a spoiler because it's just a guess, but I wouldn't be surprised if Kendall kind of just turns into his dad. Michael says, what was your theater experience with The Little Mermaid? Well, it was a screening. It was a press screening at like a professional screening room, and I was surprised there weren't more people in it. I thought it would be jam-packed, but it was a small crowd, and it was lovely. The nice thing about going to press screenings is that everybody's well-behaved. Nobody talks, nobody goes on their phone, everybody's there to watch the movie. And that's really nice. And so I hope that, I'm a little worried about this movie because some people are being jerks about it. And I just want everyone to have a really nice experience going. I talked about, that there was no reason to hate the movie. And some people misconstrued that as that I said you couldn't criticize the film. You certainly can criticize the film constructively, but I'm talking about specifically hating on film. I think that that's really appalling. Ace says, why is Tom Cruise so hated on? I saw a lot of hate for him this weekend at the Grand Prix where he was with Shakira. I thought he was back with Top Gun. Everybody ebbs and flows. That's just the way it is. And I think every once in a while people are like, oh yeah, he's a part of a cult. And that kind of like rears its head. That's kind of what happens, I think, with him. Oh, Edward, thank you. Big fan for 10 plus years. Do you have thoughts on the U.S. release of the Eva Green French Three Musketeers movie? I don't really think that anyone's going to pay attention to that film. I don't really think it's on anyone's radar, but I mean, I don't know how you feel about it, Edward, but I do like Eva Green. I think it's a shame she doesn't work more. Chris Hampton says, my friend saw Guardians of the Galaxy 3 and almost had to leave the theater because of a panic attack due to the intense rocket scenes. Yeah, it was severe. I think James Gunn didn't expect people to have that strong a reaction, quite frankly. Because I think it is affecting the film's box office. Even though, again, I thought it was very well handled. Luis Berry says, question, where does Quill return after Volume 3? I think most likely he returns in Kang Dynasty, with the rest of the Guardians returning in Secret Wars, minus Zoe and Dave. Yeah, I see him in an Avengers-style movie, quite frankly. February Schneck. What a great name. Says, hi, Grace. Do you have any Ahsoka tea? Have you started watching Rebels yet? I haven't started watching Rebels yet. I have time, but I better get started. I don't have any Ahsoka tea just yet. Future Movie Actor says, congrats to the MTV Movie and TV Awards recipients, including Elizabeth Olsen, who got Best Villain. Did she? I don't know why you put a question mark on that. Louise says, hi from Brooklyn, been a silent fan for years. Aw, the early screenings of Little Mermaid and AMC Lincoln Square are almost full. Oh, they're doing early screenings for that movie? That's great. I really think word of mouth is going to help that film the most. Tovi says, are there any movies you gave a pass on despite disagreeing with it personally? I think I'm pretty honest about whether or not I disagree with something but still feel it's well made. I mean, I'm really honest about my opinion on films, and I'm very nuanced. And, some people that have, I have like a problem with that. I guess the only thing I would say is I chose not to review Strange World because I thought that it was so horrible, and yet I had interviewed the filmmakers, and also it meant a lot to the representation, meant a lot to the LGBT community. So I didn't want to hate on it, but I didn't really feel any other way to review it because it was just so awful, and I didn't want to pile on to that. So I just felt like not reviewing it was like the comment that I wanted to make. Luis, you're in Hawaii. Oh, I haven't heard anything about Beetlejuice 2. I don't even know if Jenna Ortega took it. Did Jerry just give some memberships? Hold on. Jerry gave 20 memberships. Jerry, that's very generous of you. Thank you so much. And those of you thanking Jerry was very kind. I'll Watch says, any Scream 6 spoiler thoughts? I thought it was a great movie. I thought it was really cool. I thought the New York location actually worked quite well. I was surprised. I thought it was great. That's right, Graham. Your chats are free. They're free. Adam Swift says, Barbie or Oppenheimer? Why not both? But I think Oppenheimer will probably actually be the bigger movie. Let's see. Although they are doing Barbie reshoots, so I reserve the right to change my mind depending on how maybe it gets changed. Nathan says, hey Grace, I've always wondered what is the behind the scenes for creating a breakdown video? Do you mean like a trailer breakdown? It takes a very long time. And also, so the way it works is, so when a trailer drops, I immediately react. I try to react as soon as possible. Then I watch it a couple more times and I start taking notes on what I want to cover in a breakdown. So I'll do kind of like my intro that I want to say, and I'll have a couple of quick jotted down notes about things that maybe I want to mention shot by shot that are important, that have like detailed info that I want to mention. Then I'll film it, and that's a long take, and I'll go through, and sometimes I'll riff and I'll improvise and I'll come up with stuff as I'm going through it. And then I have to edit it. And that takes quite a long time. I have to update my computer. My computer is actually pretty old, my desktop. I have a MacBook, which is so fast. I'm like, oh my God, why is it so fast? Some of you are like, why aren't you in 1080p? And I'm like, do you know how long it would take to render? So I'll maybe try and buy a new computer in the next couple of months. I'm really hoping that I have an iMac, like 28 inch or 27 inch. And right now they only sell like a 23 inch or something. And I'm really annoyed about it. So I keep hoping they're going to come out with a new version of the bigger one. But I don't think that's going to happen. So at some point, I'll get a new computer, and then maybe I'll start doing 1080p. But it takes about 4 hours. Maybe if I'm really in a rush, I can do it in 3.5. But 3.5 to 5 hours to do a breakdown. Let's see here. Amy, I don't think I'm going to watch Silo. I started it, didn't love it. I was like, just seemed like typical dystopian stuff to me. Carlos says, can Marvel be saved? Yes, it always can. A great project can save anything. I think they just have to stop being lazy over there. Only T.I. will cover Jonathan Majors' court hearing, but there has to be something to cover. There isn't really anything going on right now. They just kind of officially scheduled it. Sean M. says, Marvel should replace Majors with Iwuji as Kang. They can't, because he's the High Evolutionary. I actually would not continue with Kang, quite frankly. I don't know what the Kang Dynasty screenplay is supposed to be, but I don't really think anyone's like, Kang is really working out as a character. And that's the writer's fault. That's Jeff Loveness's fault, and whoever approved his script. Perry Miller says, thoughts on the new Transformers Rise of the Beasts clip. Perry, what great use of emojis. I haven't seen the clip. I don't usually like to watch clips, quite frankly. I think they show too much of movies, to be honest with you. I really only watch trailers. I don't watch TV spots and stuff like that, because eventually you've kind of seen the whole movie, and I think I don't like going in that way personally. But the movie looks really good to me. I'm very excited for Transformers. June is going to be really awesome. I'm excited. May is a little slow. Zoli says, I'm so happy you liked The Little Mermaid. On that note, I'm curious, was there any movie recently you wanted to like very much, but you just couldn't? I would say Strange World was like that. Mario. Oh, Mario. I wanted to like Mario. Everybody was excited about Mario. I was like starting to feel the party. I was like, oh boy. I got my screening invite and I went and I was so excited and I had the food and I was sitting in my seat and I was like, oh, this is going to be so great. I'm so excited to see what's going on here. And I thought the movie was just awful. That Mario has been an odd experience. Let's see here. Benzu, I didn't get around to Star Wars Visions, and at this point, I don't believe that I will, because I got to watch, the Rebels show. Anthony says, first time I've ever been able to make a stream. Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, you're in Saudi Arabia. Hello. I'm so glad you were able to make it today. Luis says, I hope Oppenheimer is better than Tenet. I thought Tenet was pretty good, but I think Oppenheimer will be better because it's a more traditional story. I hope it's good. Let's see here. Sleep Party says, I wish more people would talk about the new Barry season. Yeah, it's not even trending, although Succession didn't trend either this past weekend. Michael, thank you for gifting 5 memberships. That's very generous of you. David says, is it possible for the productions to hire writers outside the United States? I think some of them are. But that's just going to make the union really angry. As it should, quite frankly. Abdil says, whatever happened to the people who wrote Kang and Loki? That's Michael Waldron, and he's caused his own problems over there in Multiverse of Madness, quite frankly. Let's see here. Future movie actresses. After Creed 3, I watched a review of it, and wow, a lot of dated comments in there now. Well, it's because obviously what happened with Jonathan Majors, and nobody saw that coming, boy. That's why it was so shocking. Calignius says, what do you think is the future of Scarlet Witch in the MCU? I'm not sure. I think the MCUs have, I think maybe Kevin Feige has too many toys, quite frankly. And so I think it's just a little bit deer in the headlights situation. Ace says, Grace, what are your thoughts on spoilers? Sometimes I watch your spoiler reviews before I see the movie, and it makes me more excited about the movie. Well, I feel, you do what works for best for you. I like being surprised to some degree. Like, again, so much stuff in The Little Mermaid was a surprise. That was really a treat. So much stuff in Guardians of the Galaxy was a surprise. I really enjoyed that. But I know that some people are different. So I always make my spoiler review available when it opens in the biggest market, the United States. When it opens in the United States, usually on Thursdays, I'll drop my spoiler review. So you can either watch it before you go in, or it's ready for you right when you get out of the theater. And I think I'm happy with that choice. But I personally, I think it's important I think it's nice to have a little bit of some surprises when you're watching the movie. Olivia, Lost in Translation is your favorite film? Oh, that's great. I'm not a huge fan, to be honest with you, but I certainly respect it. Jay Scott says, I was so sad that Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves failed commercially. What should I do going forward? It really damaged my goodwill for movies overall. Aw, well, you didn't make it. So I think that, I think March was too crowded, and I hope that Hollywood learns from that, although they don't seem to have, considering how June looks. Ninja Twink, what a great name. I can't pick who gets a membership. Nobody can. It's decided by YouTube and how interactive you are with the channel. Dante says, I would give an ungodly amount of money for Terrence Howard to return as Kang and all the characters remain unfazed like they did with Rhodey. That is pretty funny. But, I don't know if maybe the same issues still exist. Thanks, Michael Kirby. That's very generous of you. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Nama the Nerd. I don't want to ruin Secret Invasion. I told you that somebody in the trailers is, last I heard, a Skrull, one of the human characters. And I did tell you that Emilia Clarke is playing an amalgam of characters. They've, combined a bunch of characters into one. And pretty much everybody's guessed who she is. But you're all right, is the way it works. Jason says, Kevin Feige killed off all the toys people loved all at once and replaced them immediately with far inferior versions. Well, he really, there's my timer. It spooked me. Well, he really did Marvel Now. And it's weird that he did Marvel Now, because Marvel Now didn't work. Marvel Now didn't work when it came out in the comics. So I have no idea why, I have no idea why he thought it would work as a movie. JB says, do you think The Little Mermaid will save Melissa McCarthy's career? I don't know. Let's see how the movie does at the box office, and let's see how it does awards-wise. I mean, if it gets her an Oscar nomination, that'd be a pretty big deal. Abdil, thank you for gifting 5 memberships. That's very generous of you. And Space Gaga says, sorry, one more question. I saw Heat, loved it. Do you have any recommendations that are similar to that movie? I heard they are making Heat 2. Tokyo Vice on HBO Max, is it still on there? Is pretty good, and that's very similar to that style. And then also, of course, all of Christopher Nolan's movies are a lot like Heat, so you should watch anything that he does. Mark Bird says, Grace, are there plans for Obi-Wan Season 2? Oh, I'm glad you like my hair in a ponytail. I like to change it up. I don't think there are. I mean, Ewan McGregor has made it very clear he would like to come back, but I would be surprised. Hey, Ryan K., thank you. Caden says, is The Little Mermaid worth seeing in Dolby 3D? I wouldn't see it in 3D. It wasn't filmed for 3D, quite frankly. So I wouldn't go to 3D. But I would see it in Dolby, but I think 2D is the way to go. Maybe the second time you see it, you can try it, but I would just watch it in 2D. My Doe says, any talks on Scream 7? Well, they're making it, but I haven't heard anything about it. Thanks, Ernie. Jamie, have a great time seeing Guardians of the Galaxy 3 tomorrow. Frederick says, any updates on your top 3 movies? Great use of emojis there, Frederick. Not at the moment. I still have Rear Window, Saving Mr. Banks, and now Joker. There's always a Batman. I mean, I kind of liked the Batman. Would I replace Joker with the Batman? Maybe I would. Whatever the latest really good Batman movie is in my top 3. Brett, I'm glad you made the live stream. Oh, Ahmed says, Grace, what did you think of Vanessa in The Little Mermaid? Amazing. Oh, she was so good. That actress just knocked it out of the park. Talk about there are no small roles, only small actors. Jordan says, hey, Grace, thoughts on the blip being ignored so much? Maybe this is unpopular, but I need more blip content. Well, I don't know. I think we're really past the blip at this point. Arthur, some of the super chats, they disappear after a while. I can't go back to them, I'm afraid. Hey, Michael Kirby, thanks for joining. Topher also is asking when I see The Flash. I suspect it'll be early June. You know, whenever the review embargo lifts. Adlad says, really enjoy the BTT community. That's very sweet. If you ever do a live tour, hope you visit the AFI Silver just outside DC. Thanks. I don't know if I will, but I've never been to Washington, D.C., actually. Hey, Jar Jar in the Philippines. Carliv says, so no pink ball gown in The Little Mermaid? Well, her final dress has some pink in it, but yeah, she never gets a ball gown. But who would wear a ball gown in the Caribbean? I think she really looks gorgeous. That blue dress is stunning. There's one scene where she's running up a hill with palm trees in that dress, and I was like, wow. Mark Lenard says, Grace, since I watch a lot of Grace, my algo sends me, your algorithm sends me a bunch of Grace-hating YouTubers. Thanks for defending me. I appreciate it. You guys are very sweet. I really appreciate that. Please do if you feel that you can, but don't get sucked too much into that because those people are just hating to hate. Gap says, are they saving the official cast reveal of Fantastic Four for Comic-Con? I don't know if they can wait that long. You'll probably I think it'll come in the next few weeks. But let's see. I think it's understandable they might try and wait till Comic-Con, but I would be surprised if they could wait that long. The Daily Dose says, have you ever watched the movie Final Destination? Have I? I've seen all the Final Destinations. Oh, Eurovision starts in 35 minutes, says Liebem. And Future Movie Actor says, a book of The Little Mermaid 2023 revealed a major climax change in which character does something specific. Oh, let's not give away any, I don't want to give away any spoilers. I had no problems with any of the changes that were made to The Little Mermaid, and I didn't think any of them were that aggressive. Really. It's such a sweet, innocent film. That's why I said there's no reason to hate on it. It's such a nice movie. You're like, just leave it alone. If you don't like it, just go away. Just go do something else. Santa Side Up says, hi, Grace. Saw Guardians of the Galaxy a day after my I'm sorry about the loss of your grandma, and let me say it was a bad idea. I'm sorry that happened. I'm sorry. I'm glad the movie touched you emotionally, but I'm sorry that you had that 1-2 punch. Zahid says, why is there no trailer for Mission Impossible? There'll be another trailer. There'll be one more. Mido, I'm not sure who I would want in the White Lotus Season 3, but I'm excited for that for sure. I think Mike White's really talented, especially when doing those. Bach Fuse says, hi Grace, with Adam Driver being considered for Mr. Fantastic, any thoughts on who should play Dr. Doom or Silver Surfer? Well, I've said who I thought should be Dr. Doom. I don't really care about the Silver Surfer. I'm not a big Fantastic Four fan, to be honest with you. I'm all about the X-Men. So I'm like, all right, I guess we'll do the Fantastic Four, but let's see. I like evil Reed Richards just like I like evil Superman, but I know some people don't like that. So let's just see how it goes. Sophia says, hey Grace, what would you think about a Legend of Zelda movie by DreamWorks in the Puss in Boots 2 style? They could do that. Thanks, Bubbles Emporium. That's very nice of you to worry about my timing. I do have to get off in just a minute. I set my timer a little early so I'd have a little bit of a grace period. But Sophia, that's still Universal. So yes, they could do that technically. But I don't know if Illumination will give it up. But let's see. I don't know. Puss in Boots did well, but not as well as Mario. So I would be a little nervous about that style of animation for that reason. Hi, CJ. I always love hearing from you. I hope you and Marvel are doing well. And Jeff McCulloch says, when do you get to see the new Indiana Jones? I'm so nervous, excited about this one. Yeah, I'm nervous too, Jeff. I imagine I'll be seeing it probably, well, whenever it debuts in Cannes. I don't know if they'll do a U.S. screening or not for press, but I mean, I'll certainly see it probably early to mid-June. Let's see here. I'll do 2 more. Oleannie, you made it to Alive. I love it. Thanks, Tanvi. What a nice thing to say. Hello to you in India as well. Andrew says, do you think Jennifer Lawrence is still a movie star? I'm not sure. I think she'll always be famous. You know, I think she's certainly a brand. But I don't know if she's still a movie star, to be honest with you. And to some degree, I don't know if she ever was. But she's certainly a famous and celebrated actress. Mika says, Grace, what country would you choose to be the ambassador to? I guess I just watched The Diplomat, and the England gig seemed pretty good. The Diplomat on Netflix was great. Loved by You says, what made you change your mind on The Little Mermaid? Oh, that's a good question. It was so much better and took itself so much more seriously than I expected it to. It wasn't just like, oh, you like The Little Mermaid, right? Well, here it is in live action. Like, they genuinely tried to make their own Little Mermaid film. And I really respected that. And that's why I changed my mind. And I'll talk more about it when I review it. Arthur says, do you think Nielsen ratings would be more accurate if the minutes watched were divided by the minutes available? Well, I think it should be. I don't think they should group all the seasons together. I don't think that's fair. I think it should be separated by season. And then Nor says, longtime watcher, you motivate me to keep watching movies. What a nice thing to say, Nor. I'm really glad you feel that way. And Mo says, first ever comment. Hey, Grace, would you say The Little Mermaid is one of your favorite films of the year so far? Yes, I would, for sure. I really liked it. And then Mish says, what about Secret Invasion screeners? I don't have any just yet. But it's not coming out until, late June? So I wouldn't suspect that I would get those until, I don't even know if they're going to send them out for sure, because it might be hopefully full of surprises. Like, they don't really send out Star Wars screeners for the shows. Sometimes they do. But like for Mandalorian, like we got the first 2 episodes like 2 hours before it dropped. So I was like, oh my God, I gotta work. Well, not 2 hours, but the night of. So maybe we'll get some screeners, but I suspect it'll be very close to drop because of them wanting to avoid spoilers. I don't want it to be spoiled. I want us to be surprised when we watch it. Alberto says, how do you feel about the MCU's first F-bomb? Didn't hear it. Didn't even recognize that he swore. Oh, hey, Rodrigo. Much love to you in Brazil as well. Greetings to you in Kenya, Mimsy. Oh, you guys are so great. Well, I better get going, though. I have to get going. I really seriously do. I've had such a good time. I'm so glad that we opened this up to subscribers today so that more people could participate. Let me thank McCabe. McCabe is the one who asked me on Twitter. And so McCabe is the one who got me to open this up. Oh, ciao to you too, Dennis. Ciao to you as well. I apologize if I didn't get to your question. I put it on the maximum delay on chat that I could, 5 minutes. So, I tried to get everything as possible. I wish YouTube wouldn't erase super chats after a few minutes. That's very frustrating. So, but thank you. I hope I got to as many as possible. And I also tried to answer some questions for people who were members and subscribers who didn't do super chat, just to try and be as fair as possible. All right, that's what they say about a fair compromise. Now, everybody's a little unhappy and everybody's a little happy. So that's the way it goes. All right, everybody. Again, I had a wonderful time, and I will see you tomorrow and Thursday for this week's other live streams. I hope we have some news stories to go over, or we'll do another Ask Me Anything. All right, everybody. Bye. Bye, 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 bye.